how do you know when you've done enough research? When can you finally stop and begin the writing process? I guess you could research so you become a professional in a certain subject, but when do you say, okay, I know enough to be dangerous, let's get writing? So that's a great question. So basically, so if I just use an example, so like the Fultz trucking commercial that we did this year with the Academy, obviously I don't do trucking, so I don't really have a whole lot of knowledge in that. But basically just getting to know the client and just kind of talking to them about, all aspects of their operation and like understanding it that way, or even just in communicating with the client. If you just do a little bit of background research, like one way I explained how we were thinking of going with the mood and style of the film was, their trucks are Volvo trucks and they have a very different look from, say, a Peterbilt. Peterbilt is very like strong, hard, square lines. They're supposed to look tough and mean, versus like a Volvo truck. It's smooth, clean lines, and they look a lot more kind of clean and professional. They have, white. And so we wanted to make the video match their trucks in that sense, make a video that was kind of clean and felt kind of smooth and professional, versus if Fultz's brand had been like, the Peterbilt type trucks, then it would have been maybe more kind of that maybe hard driving, rocky music with, splashing through mud and whatever, so just like, since I kind of knew some context of like, and I understood like they chose those trucks for a number of reasons. They look, more clean and professional, and that all tied into their brand and things like that. That's a little bit separate. But as far as research, you don't have to be an expert on the subject at all. Just make sure you know enough that you can so that you can ask informed questions, basically. Because you don't have to know all of it even going into the interview necessarily, but it is helpful to even almost interview them ahead, so that then like when they might go off on a tangent that you didn't realize even existed. And then be also, and John Clay's going to talk more about doing directing interviews and stuff, but be willing to follow some tangents sometimes, because you might end up with something that you didn't expect that could be really good. So I don't know, John Clay, you have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, as far as promo, it's different than like writing a feature film, especially feature films. It gets crazy, not if you start writing things you don't know about, because then you're being more of an authority, because you're the voice. That's why it's helpful to go talk to people that do understand it better than you. When you're doing a promo, you're not necessarily the voice. The person you're interviewing will be. And now let me just clarify. I'm assuming that you're going to shoot an interview and film B-roll. This is how you're going to make your promo, because there can be, like I said, narrative type promos. So we're just going to go with, when you're doing an interview type promo, somebody calls me up and wants a project. I want to know what their websites are. I want to know if they have resources. Do they have videos? I want to know as much about them as I can without talking to them, because I just like to see what their written material is and kind of get an idea. But finding out that information, and then they're saying what kind of research. I want to know what kind of styles are similar to this. I want to know. I do ask them what do they like, what are they looking for. Tell me a little bit about your background, this kind of thing. And so I find out what those key pieces are to them, and that's what I go research or pay attention to. They said that they were missionaries that went to Moody, or they were Moody and they were missionaries. And World War II broke out and they couldn't go there, so they went south and started a school for African Americans in the South. And okay, so I kind of know about a lot of those things already. So, but go do the research on those things that are pertinent to them, and then, like Andrew was saying, make a list of the questions. And again, we'll get into this, but you'll begin writing out questions to help them say what's important. And then you kind of find out as you go through there what else may be important that you didn't realize. I schedule quite a bit of time. I spend usually an hour doing interviews, and just because I want to really make sure I've heard them. Now, it's a 3-minute video, so you can't even use hardly any of it, but that's part of how I do research too, is I extensively interview them. I usually do it with the camera there, just in case they say something I want to use. There's different methods to it, but you don't have to know enough to go write a book on it. You just have to know enough to talk about it for 3 minutes.